Welcome to Andy Staples on 3. I told you we were going to start getting these quarterback announcements, and now we're getting them. Lots of news these days as we get closer to the college football season, on the field and off the field. But we have a very fun day for you because we're talking a bit of the news, but we've got a great interview with Travis Williams, the defensive coordinator from Arkansas, who is the freshest MC in the coaching game. You've seen the video. I know you have. If you haven't, or you think you haven't, you'll see it and you'll go, oh yeah, I saw that. Because Snoop Dogg shouted this guy out. Like, this is the premier MC among coaches. He's also a very good defensive coordinator. So we'll talk to him. We'll also talk to a couple Tennessee Vols from in the trenches. Center Cooper Mays, defensive lineman Omari Thomas. Also, a couple Iowa Hawkeyes, linebacker Jay Higgins, tight end Luke Lachey. We will get you ready. But first, the news from Thursday. Will Howard named the Ohio State quarterback QB1, as predicted by Spencer Holbrook on Monday's show. Ryan Day said, Will Howard will start our first game against Akron. He's our starting quarterback. I think Chip Kelly, of course, has done a great job of rolling our quarterbacks from the first day of spring all the way to now. We're talking 27 or 28 practices. And when you take the aggregate of all the numbers, Will has graded out significantly ahead of the other guys. Our friend Parker Fleming at Stats War on X, very funny tweet yesterday. Breaking. Veteran quarterback who signed a hefty NIL deal is named our starting quarterback. He was not speaking, of course, only of Will Howard. This is all of these quarterback competitions. We talked about Tyler Van Dyke at Wisconsin yesterday. Yes, the advantage was heavily tilted toward Will Howard in this competition, but Ohio State has plenty of money. If Will Howard had come in and been a complete dud, then I think Ohio State would have moved on and started Devin Brown, started somebody else. Devin Brown will be the backup. Remember, Devin Brown started the bowl game, got hurt pretty early. We never really got to see what he can do, but I don't know if it's going to be a situation where Devin Brown really gets a chance, because now they've got Julian Sayin. Now they've got Air Noland. Now they've got all these other people who could potentially be the starting quarterback. So that's the guy. Now, there are doubters about Will Howard. Eric in the chat is one of them. Will Howard will lose the starting job for good when he throws 3 picks against Nebraska and loses by 2 touchdowns. Now, that's game 8, I believe. So he'd be pretty deep into the season at that point. But I've seen this refrain a few times throughout the offseason. There was a comment in the chat yesterday even said, Will Howard just isn't good enough to be Ohio State's starting quarterback. And Will Howard's a pretty good starting quarterback, helped Kansas State win a Big 12 title a couple of years ago. And I see people saying, if he wasn't that good at Kansas State, why is he going to be good at Ohio State? Well, he has considerably more talent around him at Ohio State, and that does seem to matter, right? I go back to Jaden Daniels. Remember Jaden Daniels when he was a freshman at Arizona State? We're like, this guy is awesome. And then the next 2 years, we're like, what happened to Jaden Daniels? Well, let's see. When Jaden Daniels was a freshman, Brandon Ayuk caught 65 passes for 1,200 yards. And then Brandon Ayuk went to the NFL. Funny thing about that, Jaden Daniels became a worse quarterback when Brandon Ayuk wasn't there. And then Jaden Daniels went to LSU, became a much better quarterback when Malik Nabers and Brian Thomas Jr. were there. Crazy how that works. Name the best receiver or the best pass-catching target at Kansas State during Will Howard's tenure. There's Ben Sinnott. I'll help you there. There's Ben Sinnott, the tight end. He had Deuce Vaughn 2 years ago when they won the Big 12 championship. And Deuce Vaughn was gone after that year. So he's going to have Emeka Ibuka, Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, Travion Henderson, and Quinshon Judkins are the backs. Like, it's a very different environment around Will Howard with Ohio State. This is going to be a very interesting thing because as AJ Adams points out, he's trying to make this a thing. I'm for it. Saying Will Howard got beat out by AJ Jett. That would be Avery Johnson at Kansas State. Yes, he did. Kansas State put a lot of NIL resources into Avery Johnson, a guy from Kansas who is younger than Will Howard, who will be there for at least 2 more years. They made that choice. Same choice Oklahoma made with Jackson Arnold that allowed Dillon Gabriel to go to Oregon. And we'll find out. It will be very interesting. I am fascinated to see how people judge Chris Klieman at Kansas State and Brent Venables at Oklahoma if we are watching Dillon Gabriel and Will Howard duke it out for the Big Ten title and possibly duke it out in the playoff. Like, are they going to feel like they made a mistake if they're not also in the playoff? It's going to be interesting. Chicken 1515. Also, he's got Chip Kelly. That is a big also. That's a huge also. Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator, only having to worry about offensive coordinator things, not having to worry anymore about head coach things. That's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. And that's yet another reason why we keep pumping up Ohio State this offseason. And you got the people, they can't beat Michigan. No, they've lost 3 in a row against Michigan. You're right. But if you're paying any attention, there's a good chance they're substantially different this year. Nathan in the chat, giving up your A-level QB for another A-level QB just because the second one is younger is like the old dude divorcing his hot wife of 20 years for a barista at Starbucks. No, well, it depends. Is the barista at Starbucks also working on a startup that could be worth billions? That's the gamble here with Avery Johnson or with Jackson Arnold. The startup that the barista is working on may be worth billions, or it might not. We just don't know. And that's the issue right now. But I'm really intrigued to see how everybody gets judged for all of this, because Chris Klieman has done no wrong at Kansas State. Brent Venables, he's at Oklahoma. The standards are very high. He's gotten criticism like that first year that they were just not good enough. Last year, they were much better. But both of them could be subject to some fairly intense criticism if Dillon Gabriel and Will Howard are just flat out awesome this year and their QBs don't live up to the hype. They're going to have to do it. There's a lot of pressure on Jackson Arnold and Avery Johnson, but there's also a ton of pressure on Dillon Gabriel and Will Howard. I mean, Will Howard is being handed the keys to a Ferrari. Maserati. Maserati Marv's gone. What are we calling Jeremiah? I think Jeremiah Smith is a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. And I'm sorry Kyle McCord took the Honda McCord stray. I feel very bad about that. I didn't do that, by the way. I didn't coin that term, but somebody did. Goat dog, they left him for a young thing. Well, that's right. But here's the thing with Will Howard. If we're going to continue this analogy, if we're going to torture this analogy, Will Howard is that, hot spouse of a long time who got dumped for what the person supposedly thought is an upgrade, who hit the gym super hard and is just rocking the bod, coming out, every head's turning, and they also came into money. Like, they have inherited something, got a promotion at work, something, because they've also got a squad around them now that makes them pretty good. So that's Will Howard. And Will Howard competing against the ghost of Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson competing against the ghost of Will Howard. We'll find out what happens. It's going to be a lot of fun. Other news. We have a little Jaden Rashada news. The Jaden Rashada-Billy Napier lawsuit continues. An amended complaint filed by Jaden Rashada's attorney. A little bit of new info. Laid out a scene that happened in June 2022, alleging that Florida donor Hugh Hathcock was let in through a back door in a meeting and then offered Jaden Rashada $11 million, an $11 million NIL deal. This was not in the first complaint. Don't ask me why. I don't know. This feels like information you could have included in the first complaint. But remember, Jaden Rashada alleging fraud against Billy Napier, against Hugh Hathcock, the donor in question, against Marcus Castro Walker, the former Florida NIL guy who now doesn't work at Florida anymore. Not alleging breach of contract because the contract was terminated within the terms of the contract, saying essentially Jaden had this deal at Miami that was on the table and he gave it up for one at Florida that was then pulled out from under him. That is why they're alleging fraud. Billy Napier, his attorney, Marcus Castro Walker, his attorney, Hugh Hathcock, his attorney, they've all said, no. They, in their motions to dismiss, they all said, this is not true. It's not fraud. Everything was handled above board. Everything was handled within the terms of the contract. We will see what happens. This is a fascinating case because here's why. So far, Jaden Rashada and his team have not put forward anything that looks like it will win this case. But there is no incentive for him to quit trying. All it can do is get dismissed at some point by a judge, or he could lose the case if it went to trial. The others, there's more potential for damage if it goes to discovery. There's some people who got caught in the middle of all this who will happily unload on everybody from both sides if they end up getting deposed here. Yeah, those of us who are fans of open records laws, pretty excited about that possibility. So we'll see if it gets that far. But the judge may say no, dismissed, or somebody may settle. We'll find out. But there's no incentive for Jaden Rashada to quit this. I saw a lot of people say, Jaden, this makes Jaden Rashada look bad. Jaden Rashada's looked bad the whole time. What does he care at this point? So he has no incentive to stop. But if I'm Billy Napier, I'm not settling with Georgia's third-string quarterback. Like, I'm just not, on principle. As the head coach of the University of Florida, you don't settle out of court with Georgia's third-string quarterback. You just don't. Other piece of news, very interesting piece of news that just happened to happen on the same day. The Miami Herald reporting that the company Life Wallet, for those who don't know, that's run by John Ruiz, Miami booster. Life Wallet told investors on Wednesday that, quote, there is substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue operating. This is a company that went public a couple of years ago at a multi-million-dollar valuation, and now it may just be poof. Well, that company was funding a lot of Miami NIL deals back in the day. For those who think, oh, because of all this, a bunch of Miami players are going to hit the transfer portal, that's not what's going to happen. They have diversified their NIL portfolio in terms of donors. It's not all John Ruiz, but John Ruiz was going to be the primary person funding the Jaden Rashada deal in question in that case. What's interesting about that is in the Jaden Rashada complaint, it says that there was a $9.5 million deal from Miami on the table. Ruiz has said repeatedly that it wasn't worth that much. So if I'm the attorneys for the defendants in that Jaden Rashada case, I'm trying to prove that that wasn't the case, that wasn't the dollar figure, because it would seem it falls apart if that is not the dollar figure on the table. None of us has seen, like, we have published on 3, we have published the contract between Jaden Rashada and Florida's, the Gator Collective, which is the now defunct collective that was representing Florida at the time. Like, it exists. You can read it on our website. No one's ever seen the Miami deal. So we'll see what happens, but just an amazing coincidence that John Ruiz news came out the same day that there was an amended complaint in the Jaden Rashada case. Another little snippet that we saw on Thursday. Auburn Director of Equipment Tyler Renard did a presentation on the helmet communication. And if you want to read about that on Auburn Live, our guys did a really good job breaking that down. But we got a clip from that where he's explaining a little bit about how it works.
And you have a radio that is connected to our coaches' headsets, and then all he has to do, press this little button, and you guys can hear the comms coming out of the helmet. Obviously, in the college game, there's not as much huddling going on as in the NFL. It's something that the coaching staff is working through of, do you huddle more? Do you try and slow the game down so that you can just talk to the player on the field offensively? Obviously, with the Connor Stallion stuff and the sign stealing and all of that with Michigan, this has been a very prevalent thing in college football to get it passed.
So, yeah, the Connor Stallion stuff was interesting. But what Tyler Renard said about huddling, I think, was the most interesting. We've talked about this a little bit on the show already. This is what coaches are talking about, because coaches do want to get rid of a lot of the signaling on the sidelines. But you can't do that and go really fast. You're still going to have the guys in multicolored polo shirts or some signs. If you would like to talk, like if you want to get a play in 5 seconds, you can say it to the quarterback. He can then probably communicate that to the offensive lineman, but you can't talk to the receivers who are out on the edges. You can't explain what they've got to do. So you still got to be able to signal them. Same for the defense. You can send it into the middle linebacker who can tell the other linebackers and the defensive linemen, but somebody's got to get that information to the DBs. And so does that cause the offenses to huddle even more? Go back to huddling more? Because you can securely get your play in. It might take a little longer. And really, that would be a return to the way the game used to be, where you huddled most of the time, but when you needed to go fast, you went fast. And I think the teams that can do both effectively are the ones that are the most effective. The ones that go fast all the time, it's just like a major league pitcher who only has a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Yes, you're going to blow that by some people, but eventually major league hitters are going to time that up if you don't have a changeup, a curveball, a slider that forces them to think differently. The offenses that can go at multiple tempos are the ones that are going to win. So we'll find out. All right. We got a lot of fun stuff for you today. The first, we're going to talk to T. Will. That's Travis Williams. He's the defensive coordinator at Arkansas. He went viral earlier this month for a rap in a team meeting. This is not the first time he's done this. He's perfecting his craft at this point. But this is one of the hottest rising stars in coaching. I'm telling you, watch this guy. He's going to be a head coach someday. A lot of fun. And he explained how that came to be and also what it means to embrace the hog. Honored to be joined now by the defensive coordinator of the Arkansas Razorbacks, Travis Williams, better known as T. Will. That's since high school, right? Or did that come in Auburn when you were playing?
Probably when I was a player. I had all kinds of different names. I like T. Will the best. I won't even tell you the other name.
Well, it's tough though, because you've got a couple coordinators. You got T. Will and T. Rob in the SEC, and both played at Auburn.
Yeah,
both yelled at by Will Muschamp a lot, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. Me and T. Rob go way back. That's my brother. That's my brother. Like his son is named Travis after me. So we like really close.
So I'm curious because you guys have worked, both of you, at several different schools. Like you've been at Arkansas, you've been at UCF, you've been at Auburn. He's been at Auburn. He's been at South Carolina. He's been at Florida. Have you ever had recruits that you text and think one of you is the other guy because of the nicknames?
You know what? Never have. We get more. It's more coaches than anything. It's more coaches than players that we recruit. They'll call me T-Rob, or I'm sure they probably call him T-Will. But I'm sure they know our faces are different. But
yeah, I mean, one's a DB, one's a linebacker. You don't look anything alike.
Nothing alike. I'm definitely better looking, for sure.
Of course. Of course. So, all right. You blew up a few weeks ago. Blew up.
Yeah.
You post this video on your Twitter. This is, I don't think I'm being too extravagant here. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this is the greatest freestyle in the history of a meeting room. So let's play it.
T-Will back and you know the flow is a free throw. Really from the hood, all I fear is God and the Rico. Made it out the gutter, I'm putting on for the have-nots. Always strive for more, but I'm thankful for what I have. Got no play around with T-Will, he's a head case. All he do is blitz. If I say sorry, it's hammer time, cause he's too legit. You don't know I'm not new to this. On the mic, I'm truly sick. Don't schedule us for a homecoming, cause we will ruin it. Yeah, coach. Choke slamming running backs when they hit the hole. Yeah, coach. Lennon and Cam gon' ball when I say go. Yeah, coach. DBs flying around, yeah, they out of here. Yeah, coach. Standards, not starters, cause that's what got us here. Yeah, coach. 6'6" quarterback and he dropping dimes. Yeah, coach. Porter went crazy on the offensive line. Yeah, coach. We hear the whispers and we gon' face them all. Yeah, coach. The hill 2 trillion, we embrace the hog. Yeah, coach.
So this is amazing. We got you're name dropping players. You got Xavier Story in here. You got Landon Jackson in there. You're warning people not to schedule your homecoming. All right, I got to ask the coach. Did you have to tell them in advance? Did they figure it out immediately?
You know what? What I did was is a song Glorilla is called Yeah Glow.
Right.
I played the instrumental. I said, so how it came about, Cam Ball, I forgot what happened, but he was saying something, and I think he said, yeah, coach. I said, man, you know what? That'd be pretty cool.
It's a track.
So now once I played the instrumental, I say, guys, at this part right here is in the song when they say, yeah, coach. It's okay, coach. We got it. But they never heard the freestyle, you know. So I'm just going. I'm going, and then once my hand go like this, I'm cueing them to say, yeah, coach. And it was a one take, one shot, and it ended up being a pretty good deal.
It's instant. Well, and that doesn't work if it's not organic. Like if you're on take 2 of that, you're not putting that on the internet.
You're right. It was awesome, man. It was awesome.
But so now do you get guys coming up to you saying, okay, how do I get in the next free? Like, how are you going to work the next Jared Verse, the next great Albany to the big time transfer, Anton Junkaj into a freestyle?
I got it. I put some words together and I figured out the first time I did. It's been like 4 years. I was at Auburn at the time, and it was during COVID, and I was just in my car and I freestyled, and then we started going to practice, and then our coach Malzahn asked me, "Hey T, Will, you want to do a freestyle?" So I did one on the field, and then from there, it's been a long time since I've done one. It's funny because I go to different schools and different coaches like, "Hey man, we need that freestyle," or different players that come on campus like, "Hey coach, you the one that did the freestyle." And I remember I was at the airport, and I think I was in Dallas. I think it was Dallas, but I saw Inky Johnson, and I listen to Inky Johnson each morning, just motivational speaker. And I saw him at the airport, and then we bumped into each other. He said, "Hey man, we need another freestyle." So I said, "Man, you know what? I may just do one." So I've been doing them. It's just been a long time, and this one was, I guess, was the right time, and it hit.
For those who don't know, Inky Johnson, former Tennessee DB, had a horrific injury in college, has turned into one of the best motivational speakers in the country, not just in the world of college football, but in the country.
Absolutely.
And when that dude says, we need more freestyle, we need more freestyle.
Right, 100%. So it's been a while, and so I did it. And I think it's just, I do so much. Just being your authentic self, who you are. And like I take the guys who went paintball, and we do dodgeball, and I posted that. I posted the paintball, and I just happened to post the freestyle rap, and it went viral. But we do so many different things with our student athletes, and just trying to give them that home away from home feel, and giving the guys who we really are. So this was just one that just went viral.
Well, and I find, everybody who's played will say, if I know a coach cares about me, if I know, like I got a connection with my coach, he can yell at me. He can get mad at me. He can say this stuff, and I'll work harder for him because I know. And I would imagine stuff like that just deepens that connection.
It does. It does. I think it's really important to, actually the student athlete knowing that you care about them. I just believe in support, then demand. A lot of people demand, try to ask kids to do different things in the days of just do as I say because I said so. It just doesn't work. So you want to support a kid, and then from there, then you can actually do hard things. Football is hard. So we demand, and it's hard. So, but we like to love on them and support them and making sure their experience is a great experience.
I think, coach may be the brand. Like I'm not going to make you a one-hit wonder. We know there's more hits coming. But like I saw a video, and we, I can't play it with you on because I don't want to get you in trouble with the NCAA. But I saw a video of you and a recruit. We won't name names, but this is a pretty big time recruit. Mm-hmm. And what's the guy say? Yeah, coach. Like,
it's so funny.
This has to be when they commit now.
You
want to come play for Arkansas? Yeah,
like,
coach.
Man, you need to get a shirt. You need to get a hat. You need, all of that stuff. And coach can be your deal. I don't know. I just want to coach football. I think it's pretty cool. But I do think people need to see who you really are as well. And like you said, you could go to my Instagram and I'm singing in the car with my daughters, or I'm jumping in the pool. I'm just doing all kinds of different things. I'm comfortable being myself. I think a lot of times as coaches, it's like, okay, it looks like this, so I need to do this. Mm-hmm. I think coaching is be who you are, be who you are and who the good Lord has made you to be. And I'm full of energy, and I like to dance, sing, have fun.
So I remember talking to Dave Aranda about that one time, and he made a really good point because he said early in his career he would try to mimic what all the other coaches were doing, and he'd come home at night and be like, "That's not me. Like I'm not that person." And so he just eventually decided, no, this is who I'm going to be. I'm more soft-spoken. I'm more cerebral. This is how I do it. And I think the way you do it, like if I'm a kid, that's who I want to play for. I want to go have fun at practice. I don't mind working, but I want to have fun.
Right. And that's what it is. We, and the fun is obviously in winning, but defensively the fun is during the game is getting to the ball with bad intentions and having fun as a collective group getting to the ball. So, that's what we try to instill here, and starting with our head coach, Coach Pittman, is just, man, make sure they get into the ball, with bad intention and like the hair is on fire. So, that's ideal. But the fun, man, is getting to the ball collectively and making big plays and coming on the sideline and celebrating.
So I got you've got Landon Jackson, your star defensive end, and we've seen him in some games where it didn't matter who you put in front of him, he wasn't getting blocked. Right. Can you tell during a week of practice when it's going to be like that? Or is it just on game day,
No, during the week of practice. I mean, like even going through fall camp, he practices so hard. Coach Deke Adams has done a great job with him. It just he leads by example. And the guys know he's a pretty good player, but he shows it. He come to work every day and he practices hard. Doesn't miss practice. He's not one of those guys has a little banged up here and there and wants to sit out. No, he wants to practice. So that's the best thing about him. He loves to practice. He loves football. So then you could see kind of his fruits of his labor on Saturday. But during the week, like, man, he goes hard. And, you're going to get out what you put in. So he does a really good job.
So I heard Coach Pittman say this at SEC Media Days, and then I heard you say it again in the freestyle. How does one embrace the hog?
You know what? We have a really great brand. It's a unique brand. We're the only Razorback in the country. We only Razorback mascot in the country. And we talk about just being tough, and just being accountable, having pride. So we talk about all of those different things, and that embodies, embracing the hog. So just being committed to your teammates, all of that different things that come together. But that's what embrace the hog means, because it is a great university here. It is a unique mascot, and you got to be tough. And, that's just what we're about here. And it's been like that way before we got here. And that's what Coach Pittman is instilling in the players, the coaches, the community, just embracing the hog.
How do you guys handle that? Because I heard him talk about it before, but like internally, you do have a lot of outside noise that you're dealing with right now going into this season. How do you handle that with your players?
you know what? We talk to our guys about flushing everything. So let's say we have a good practice, you have to flush it. Let's say if you have a bad practice, you have to flush it. Let's say the game goes great and you have a really great game and we win by 1,000 points, you got to flush it. Let's say we come up short in the game, you have to flush it. So you have to have that mentality, and we're talking about just taking it one game at a time as well. You know, that the great thing about playing football, you still have to put the football down and you have to really show what you're really about. So even with whatever anybody say about any team, every team has to go out and go perform. So that's the great thing. You just never know. So we really think we have a good team, and we see the guys performing. They are working hard. So we're encouraged about this year.
How excited are you to unleash this version of this defense this year?
Very excited. It's year two. It's year two in the system, and we're doing some different things defensively. We're trying to do some things that matches our personnel, and we brought some guys in. We have some new guys coming in. But really, man, it's so fun. It's so much fun just coaching these guys, just coming to work every day. Them guys have great attitudes. We got a lot of team guys, you know. So it's been so much fun. So this year is going to be a different year because we got some new faces, but it's year two in the system, and I'm been blessed to be around some great coaches here as I'm able to coach with Coach Woodson and Coach Wilson and Coach Deke Adams. So we do this thing collectively, man. But we're very encouraged, and we just want to go to work and put the ball down and play football.
So we talked about your adopted sons there on the football team. I do have to ask you about a video I saw with your actual 13-year-old daughter, because I'm going to have to put a camera in my truck because this scene has happened with my 13-year-old daughter. The same look on her face. I'm going to play it. We'll see what the Swifties say about it.
Okay.
Pick a song, man. Call karaoke. You think our daddy old?
I don't think you're old. Okay, wait. I'm trying to. It's not loading. Okay, here.
She nervous.
You know this song?
Oh, Cruel Summer.
Now, we're not going to play too much of it because Taylor might get mad, but we're going to play this part.
Nice. Just roll your eyes. It's you. Saving our 30 is through.
We have had the exact moment and it's you. Like, same thing. My daughter just dying of embarrassment.
And you have to do that now.
Yes.
In the car.
100%.
You don't have to post it, but you got to film and send it to me.
Now the question is, do we go Cruel Summer? Do we go, I don't know. I mean, we could go Lover.
Cruel Summer, because it's that high note you got to hit.
Yes. All right.
As soon as the chorus come on. And I want to see Andy.
Angels roll the dice.
You'll talk.
Haters roll the eyes. Yeah. Eyes. Okay.
Something want you more, and it's cruel.
The thing is, like, your daughter recovered well. Mine's gonna hide.
Hey, listen, True, my daughter, she was so embarrassed. She was like, but she get like, listen, at the house. They know I'm singing. They always like, Dad, chill out.
Are you that? Because I am that person. Like I can't sing, but I'm always singing every song. Whatever's in my head, I'm singing out loud.
Do you know what? That's why I see me and you. We can click because you're comfortable being yourself.
Oh yeah,
comfortable being yourself. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody else is taking up. So be yourself.
The viewers of this show know I will start singing at any time, and it's not pretty, but that's right. Now one more question. More freestyle question I was thinking about, because you work with Gus Malzahn for a long time. You work with him at Auburn. You worked him at UCF. Mm-hmm. Everybody who's been around Gus Malzahn, player coach, knows that he does not curse, but he has a lot of substitute words. Is it possible to get a freestyle with all the gosh darns and the gold diggities and the you name it's?
You know what? I can. You know what? I can put a crud in there. Crud is one of his words.
Bull crap.
I could probably put something together, and then I send it to him and Miss Christie, and I probably wouldn't post it, but I send it to him. Send it to them so they could get a good laugh, man. He's been so good to me. He the one that told me. He said, Travis, keep doing what you're doing. Nobody's doing it. Be yourself. He said, I was his old high school coach, and people laughed at me. And he said, Travis, what you're doing, man, a lot of people are afraid to do. So singing in the car and dancing and run up and down the hall. He said, man, so he is the guy that encouraged me to be myself. And I mean, he's been so great for my career. I love him. He's my guy. So he's been awesome. Sing
when you want to sing, blitz when you want to blitz. That's exactly right.
I just told the guys today, man, listen, we listen to church music around here too. So I told them, guys, most people whistle while they work. I say, man, worship while you work. So we do some worshiping while we work as well. So
Kirk Franklin leads the sacks. That's what they say.
There you go.
T-Will, thank you so much.
Man, Andy, thank you so much, brother. Be blessed. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Travis Williams, lots of fun. We're going to see that defense unleashed game 1. That's Thursday night of week 1. Arkansas against Arkansas Pine Bluff. That is a warm-up, definitely. They get Oklahoma State week 2 in Stillwater. Ollie Gordon. Got to figure out a way to stop Ollie Gordon and Alan Bowman. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. Oklahoma State, by the way, they start with South Dakota State, the defending FCS national champions. So they did not ease into the schedule of the Cowboys. The Razorbacks are easing into the schedule with Arkansas Pine Bluff. But we'll see what happens. That obviously is a staff that, hey, we've said it. It's a hot seat situation at Arkansas. They got to coach their way out of it. They're going to try it. But we'll see what happens when the Razorbacks. I think we know what's going to happen at Arkansas Pine Bluff. But when they head to Stillwater, that'll be a fun one. T-Will continue to be a fun one. If that Gus Malzahn freestyle does happen, I hope it does leak. That's all I got to say. Hope it leaks. All right. We'll stay in the SEC, but let's head over to East Tennessee. The Vols, expecting big things this season. Right now, you're going to see an interview with the person I think is the most important player on Tennessee's team. He's the guy they need. He's got to stay healthy. If he does, they're in good shape. I speak, of course, of center Cooper Mays. Caught up with him at SEC Media Days and came up with an idea about how one of his teammates can use a not-so-hidden talent to Tennessee's advantage. Here's Cooper Mays.
We got Cooper Mays, custom hat for the Tennessee Center. All right, so explain this custom hat process that they got here at SEC Media Days for you.
Yeah, so basically they've got a whole room set up to where you're kind of in there taking pictures. You got a custom hat going, and, you know, you can kind of pick whatever you want. But, you know, I chose to listen to the professionals and get something that goes with everything they say. So
now, that's right. This goes with a suit.
Goes with everything.
You can dress it down. You can wear it with jeans. Now, how do we feel about the line dancing? Is that because you could wear this hat if one went line dancing? And I do realize there are some establishments in Knoxville where that goes on.
Yeah, there's a few. Haven't seen them yet. Haven't been over there. You know,
You've been in Knoxville a long time. So.
I know. I try to stay away from anything that jeopardizes the ankles and knees. So no line dancing for me.
I will say, okay, so I avoided it too, and I grew up. I was in high school, like when Boot Scoot Boogie came out, Achy Breaky Heart, all the classic era.
The classics.
But I didn't go until I was in my early 20s. I was already married, so it was too late. And I walked in there, and I see the girl-to-guy ratio is like 8-1. And I looked at my wife, I'm like, I messed up, didn't I? She's like, yep, you should have learned to do this earlier.
You know, I actually went to a rodeo like 2 weeks ago, and it was the same thing.
Wow.
Same thing. They call it a slide and ride in Jackson, Tennessee. Pretty cool place.
So the rodeo thing would be cool. Now, you grew up in Knoxville, so it's, you know, people assume, I think people outside the South assume, oh, you grew up in the South, there's horses and cows everywhere. You grew up in the city. But, like, what would you have done in the rodeo? If you'd have really grown up on a farm, like...
I did a little bit.
What'd you do?
So, well, we grew up, so everybody says, I tell people I'm from Knoxville.
Right.
But I'm really from a place called Kingston, Tennessee. It's
well, I do know where that is.
35 minutes west on I-40.
Yeah, okay.
We grew up, you know, about 110 acres. Cows.
Oh, shoot. I did not realize that. Okay.
Cows, chickens.
Okay.
We used to throw hay bales all year round, dude. Terrible. The only thing I wanted for my birthday was to not do hay again. Because we get done with practice for about 2 hours. I go throw hay, stack hay for 2 hours in a hot barn, 109 degrees up there. Terrible.
How heavy is a hay bale?
Depends which kind of grass you got, but we had alfalfa orchard mix, so it's like a good 60 pounds. Probably.
And then over and over and over again?
Over and over and over. It's like hang cleans over and over and over.
It's funny because Cody Mock, who plays O-line for the Bucks, I asked him about that. He grew up on a farm in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And apparently they were a little more of an industrial farm than because he's like, I didn't throw hay bales. We had a machine for that.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like we had to load them into a semi. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
We're talking about a different level of farming here.
Yeah, no,
So-
we were very much small scale.
Yeah.
Just, get your hands dirty or, delivering to the small time.
How much does that feed into the work ethic, though? Like when you learn how to work like that, does it make the strength program easier? Does it make going to practice easier?
I think so. I mean, when you teach your kids how to work, it brings a whole new respect to kind of your whole life in general. But, I mean, I tell you right now, if I can go do the hardest practice in the summer and then go 2 more hours of throwing hay and stacking hay that I just stacked up just to throw off of it to stack up again, I mean, if you can do that, you can do a football workout.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well, that's what, and like you said, hang cleans over and over and over
hang
again.
cleans over and over.
But, man, so I'm amazed you never got on the line dancing piece of it. So now back to my rodeo question. So
Right.
what would you be in the rodeo? Would you steer wrestler? Would you what do you think you do?
I feel like I could steer wrestle. I wouldn't be bold enough to try to ride the bull. I could maybe do steer wrestling though. If you let me get a good grip of its horns.
I feel like O linemen are sort of built for that because
I could do it.
Because you get the grip and it's you get the upper body twisting, but also the lower body strength. It does feel like probably feels like dealing with a nose tackle.
Yes, I mean I haven't done it yet, but if I had to compare blocking Elijah Simmons in a one-on-one pass rush rep, that's what I do.
Elijah Simmons, I'm glad you mentioned him.
Yep.
Beautiful singing voice.
Yes.
Does he ever sing across the line of
All the
scrimmage
time.
from your practice?
No, not on the line of scrimmage, but if you hear somebody singing in the locker room, it's usually him belting something out.
Is it still songs that all came out before you were born?
Oh yeah, that's all we
Because
listen
he's
to.
Mr. Boyz II Men.
Yes, New Edition,
Shy.
I mean-
We had an interesting he took me through the whole.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. The more I get older, the more I love the '90s, '80s R&B, the blues, the classic.
You are an old soul.
I am, man. I really thrive in that arena. I think if you're in that arena, you're going to be a good person anyway, dang near.
Oh yeah. So this is good. All right. So if you're playing Tennessee, if you're playing in the trenches, and you hear somebody humming, "If I Ever Fall in Love,"
It's Big E.
it's Big E, and it is beautiful. That would be because somebody was talking about Michigan had a guy last year who could fake the clap with his mouth.
Oh yes.
And it's legal if you can do that.
Yeah. I know.
But I'm thinking Elijah, if he just starts belting out "If I Ever Fall in Love" by Shy or "Into the
They might just
Road,"
get up and start dancing, won't they?
could he cause somebody to make a snap infraction, to jump off or to false start? Is that possible?
I think it's possible. I mean, only one way to find out. Can't hurt.
Well, all right.
Maybe
so
a little bit less
I
breath.
want to know. We're gonna check in with you and Elijah week 1.
Got it.
And so I want you to go back to Knoxville with this idea and say, hey, listen, this is going to be our secret weapon. It is you singing 90s R&B to the opposing center
Yeah. Hold us to it.
and
Come
just
back.
lull him into a false sense of security.
Hey, I'm here with it. You just got to check in. I'll hold him to it.
This is how Tennessee's going to make the playoff. Just watch.
Right here.
Cooper Mays, thank you.
Appreciate it.
That idea that I had, and I'm going to tell you why. So I've witnessed Elijah Simmons singing in person. He sang to me on my old show. Here's a clip from Tennessee's official podcast, The Slice. And this is actually the song he sang when he was on my show. This is Song for Mama by Boyz II Men. You tell me if you're the center and a shaded nose starts singing this, you're not going to at least hum along a little bit, get a little bit, maybe forget the snap count, maybe not hear the quarterback clap if you're going on that count. Just listen to this.
Mama, Mama, you know I love you. Ooh, you know I love you, Mama. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the scar. Mama, I just want you to know that loving you is like food to my soul.
That's going to be a problem. I'm telling you right now. It's maybe not as effective as the guy who can make the clap sound with his tongue, but it's close. It's up there. It's up there. It's up there. Goat Dog says, hit that Hoo Yeah by Genuine. We could do Pony. Like that's right in Big E's wheelhouse in terms of era and genre. But it's like a little bit naughty for him. I think he goes more wholesome. So that's why I try to suggest Shy. But I don't think they do that. Freak Me by Silk. There you go. Also probably a little too naughty, but definitely right time, right genre. All right, so I pitched this idea to Tennessee defensive lineman Omari Thomas. We'll see what he has to say about it.
With Tennessee defensive tackle Omari Thomas. And Omari, I have to run this by you. So Cooper Mays and I were talking.
Okay.
And this is about your teammate Elijah Simmons.
So, okay.
Now, I have had Elijah on my show before.
You have?
And he sang Dear Mama by Boyz II Men.
Okay.
The voice of an angel.
Voice of an angel.
And so I'm talking to Coop, and I'm like, do you think he could sing to opposing centers, and would that distract them, or opposing guards? Or, could you make somebody false start, like if you just bust into a Boyz II Men song?
I think, especially Elijah being who he is.
Yeah.
If he's standing over a center, he just starts singing, the center will probably get a little thrown off.
Uh-huh.
And then he just, run right through his face.
Because Elijah's huge.
Yeah, he's huge, and he's super strong. So,
Yeah.
for something like that to happen, I could just see him start singing the song, and then he just run right through the person's face.
What is your favorite Big E song?
So I think I hang out with Big E almost every day.
Right.
So me and Big E literally, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We could just have a regular conversation. He will sing me the answer. He was end up just singing me the answer back. And I just, people when they first come around, they like, Big E, you just sing all the time? I'm like, yeah, he literally sings.
If I sang like that, I would never stop singing.
It sounds so good. But his favorite song, my favorite song that Big E probably sing, it's definitely gonna be something Boyz II Men for sure.
Oh,
He loved Boyz II Men.
Yeah, he's a very old. You got a lot of old souls. It sounds like.
Yeah, Big E doesn't listen to no rap music. The only way he knows rap music is probably from just being around us and just listening to it.
You need to introduce him to some Nate Dogg, because he could sing some
Nate
hooks.
Dogg, yeah. Hey, we're gonna get him right. We're gonna get him right.
So, this D-line, this is as deep as Tennessee's D-line's been in a while. What's it like for you knowing that you've got a fresh guy who can come in and not lose anything?
Right. It's great, knowing that I come out, the next person come in, and then we just pride ourselves on being able to know that everybody needs to be good. Everybody is considered a starter. Everybody is a one on our team. That's how we look at it, especially in the D-line room. When one person come out, we need to be coming in with the same energy, same production. It should be no fall off. And I think this is a year that we do have a lot of depth for us and a lot of guys who are mature, who know the game of football, who we all have a lot of good chemistry. So I feel like it just will be something good to see, and I'm excited for it.
And I imagine a bunch of guys coached by Rodney Garner probably pretty humble.
Yeah.
Because he humbles you.
He does.
Right off the bat, right?
he humble you like crazy right off the bat.
Because I've talked to him before about certain guys, and it's funny because if the younger the player, you can always tell you're going to get, I don't know about him. I don't know. And then he starts to trust you, and he starts to build, and then
it's just Coach G. He's just such a great guy. And one of the things I love about Coach G, he always pushes us to be better people rather than just being a good football player. But when it get on that field, you know what time it is, because he'll get on your tail. He don't mind, but at the same time, he'll come right back and let you know how much he love you, why he got on you. if you tripping, you tripping. Call a spade a spade. Like, and that's what Coach G is. He's just a real guy. He's honest, but he's a funny guy. Our meetings are literally jokes all the time. Like, we just joke around. It'd be so funny because we'll make a joke or something. He don't even know what we talking about. And he's like, oh, y'all joking right now. Like, we like, yeah. So he just enjoys it. We enjoy it, so it's fun.
And so, like, playing with James Pierce, who the whole country's going to be watching him. All the NFL people are watching him. How has he evolved as a player since he got there?
He's just one thing about James, he's come in, always had confidence in his game. No matter freshman year James or this upcoming year James, he's been confident in who he is in his game. So it's good just to know that James is going to continue to be confident and just make the plays that he's supposed to make. He's going to continue to do his job. He's not going to try to go out the ordinary, but we all able to play off each other. Like, he making plays. They double him, the next person got to make plays. They double me, the next person got to make. So it's just all working off each other. We know we all got to be able to do our job specifically in order to get where we want to go. So it's good.
Do you feel like this defense is a little bit slept on? Because when we talk about Tennessee, obviously we talk about Coach Heupel's offense. We talk about Nico becoming the starting quarterback. But it feels like for y'all to get where you want to go, you have to have a very good year on that side of the ball.
I feel like there's just pride we taking no matter what. Since Coach Heupel been here, everyone knows what it is. Like, it's offense. Everyone knows that. But we don't care that people don't talk about us. Like, it's just fine that they don't talk about us. We just like going out there competing every week and coming in and knowing that we feel like we have one of the best defenses in the country, and we just got to come in every day and really prove that to ourselves. Like, we're competing against each other. Like, we got to know that if I push you the hardest and you push me the hardest, we're going to be good. And that's just what we really bought into, just everyone just bonding to the culture and knowing that we got to be together. Like, we can't let any outside noise, whether good outside noise or bad, dictate or determine who we are.
How is that O-line holding up against you guys now? Because that's a group that, like, it's funny because everybody's like, it's a Josh Heupel offense. You guys ran the ball pretty well last year.
Yeah,
but
like, our offensive line, like, those guys are dogs. Like, every last one of them, they going to fight to the end. They going to pass block. They going to do everything they got to do for us to be successful. And, I feel like it's one of the positions on the team that people talk about bad a lot. But I love the O-line. Like, I'm with them a lot. Like, we compete. We go back and forth. They make us better. We make them better. Like, and I feel like it's all honestly going to start within the trenches. And I feel like we have a good offensive line, defensive line to push that and be able to just control where we want to go.
Guy a lot of people might not know about around the country yet, but I imagine about to get to know is Lance Hurd.
Yeah.
Like, what is he like? Because I remember seeing him in spring practice and going, oh my God, how good are Will Campbell and Emory Jones at LSU?
Yeah.
Like, when a guy comes in like that with that kind of raw talent, how much fun is it to watch him?
It's good to
grow?
see you see Lance puts in the work day in and day out. Lance wants to be great. Lance wants to be at Tennessee, so everything he's happy. He does everything to the fullest, the best of his ability. He's a good athlete, smart. Everything about him is just like, okay. Like, and then you get off the field, he's just a good guy. Like, and that's the type of people you want to play with. Like, people who gonna give their everything, they gonna bust their tail on the field. But when we get off the field, like, everything that's on the field, like, we good people off the field.
It seems like y'all have a pretty good, like, everybody gets along on this team. And I've noticed that when I've gone to Knoxville, like, you guys are always in the complex. Like, guys are always hanging out together.
Right.
And I know it wasn't always that way in Knoxville.
Yeah,
what is it like now?
Right now, it's literally like, it's probably, if you were just walking around Knoxville, you probably would never just see a football player by himself. Like, if you see one, you probably see multiple.
Yeah.
And that's just like how we travel. Like, haven't been talked about or anything like that. That's the culture we push. Like, to be a family, be brothers. Like, you can't fake things like that, because if I feel like you're faking a real friendship, real brotherhood with me, how can I trust you? Like, and we build off trust. Like, we build off those relationships. And like you said, our whole team, they do get along. Everyone loves each other. Everyone just wants what's best for everyone, and we just want to win.
Now, Keenan Peely, 26-year-old married man, can you get him out? Can you get him out the house?
Oh yeah, Keenan Peely hang out. He invite us over. We all we have a good time. Like, everyone, no matter what, like you said, Keenan Pili to the youngest guy on the team.
What's it like having a guy as experienced as Keenan in the middle of that defense?
It's a blessing. I feel like, you have a good, smart linebacker like Keenan Pili, controls the defense a lot. It's going to be good for us playing with Keenan, like the little time that I have, but practicing with him the most is amazing. And he's a great guy and great teammate, everything. So it's good.
All right, so I told Cooper to bring Big E my idea.
Okay.
I want you to back me up.
I'm gonna back you up. Well, I promise. I'm gonna tell Big E soon as I get to my phone.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Game one.
I
want the microphone to pick it up.
Yeah, we gotta get him mic'd up.
Now we've come to the end.
Nah,
I am not.
Don't mess up that song.
You think I'm gonna mess up End of the Road?
That's a great song.
I was in high school when that song came out. This is my
That's a
era.
great song.
Y'all weren't even born yet.
Nah, that's a great song.
Thank you, Omari.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
So those are your Tennessee Vols from the trenches. Omari Thomas on the defensive line, Cooper Mays on the offensive line. They will be playing this year, as Stephen Wilson points out, Neyland Stadium, home of the Vols, preserved by Pilot. That's right. There are gas station logos on the field at Neyland Stadium this year. That was the big announcement this week. They did not change the name of the stadium, Neyland Stadium. They did not change the name of the field, Shields-Watkins Field. But they did throw Pilot on the end there, and they did throw Pilot logos on the field. Obviously, the Haslam family, longtime Tennessee boosters, the founders of Pilot. It's based in East Tennessee. It makes sense. But this is kind of how you thread the needle. Remember we talked to Scott Carr, the athletic director at FIU, about Pitbull Stadium? Well, you can do that at FIU. And Scott was pointing out, Scott used to work with Tennessee AD Danny White at UCF, by the way. But Scott was pointing out, like when he worked at Southern Miss or Auburn, they've been playing a lot longer. You can't do that. You can't change the name of the stadium. You got to figure it out. Well, Christopher Jordan in the chat has figured out how Auburn's going to do it. And I appreciate this. This is the ultimate right here. Auburn will eventually be Pat Dye Field at Jordan-Hare Stadium, built with concrete, but with Yellowwood lumber as a structure. And Tim Cook, can we get some of that Apple money? That's right. Apple CEO Tim Cook is an Auburn grad. I think really what you need to do is you make that giant video board at Auburn, get Apple to turn that into the world's largest iPad. You do that, they'll do it. I think Apple will be happy to participate in that. All right. We're shifting gears now. Now, if you saw earlier this week where I did that little exercise that Ralph Russo from the Associated Press gave me when the AP poll came out, I did that exercise where you take 4 of the top 5 from the AP poll, 2 of 6 through 10, 2 of 11 through 20, 1 of 21 through 25, and 3 unranked. And that's your 12-team playoff. Well, I had Tennessee in there. I also had Iowa in there because if you've looked at Iowa's schedule, there is a path if the Hawkeyes are better offensively to 10-2. There's also a path to potentially 11-1 and a berth in the Big Ten championship game. So we'll see what happens. But at Big Ten Media Days, I caught up with a couple of Iowa players, and I want you to hear from them because they're both really fun. We'll start with Jay Higgins. Like, you talk to Jay Higgins, he's their linebacker who makes all the tackles. But you talk to Jay Higgins, and it answers the question. Like, why is Iowa always so freaking good on defense? Because they have guys like Jay Higgins. Here's Jay. The heart of the Iowa Hawkeyes defense, Jay Higgins. You ever tired making all those tackles?
No, it's actually really fun. I love it. I'm banged up on Sunday morning, but I love it.
So this defense it's good, but it's kind of become legendary in the last couple of years because partly because of the offensive struggles, but you guys, it doesn't seem to matter what field position you get put in. You do what you got to do. Yeah. What has the attitude been like? How do you build that? How does that mentality become just an ethos?
I'd say a lot of that comes from Coach Parker.
Okay.
Just his his ability to get a guy to run through a brick wall. Like I don't have it. Like I keep it pretty simple when I'm talking to the team. I think it's his passion. Like I don't know if you ever watched him on the side.
Well, we have, yes.
But he's pretty passionate about this thing, and it's easy to play hard for him. And we kind of just picked up like the standard. Like we understand. And I knew for me, like I wasn't going to be the linebacker that ruined the defensive standard. Like so, next year it's on Jaden Harrell. Like that's his problem to worry about, not mine.
So what is Phil Parker like at practice?
Right now, what are we 37 days out?
Yeah.
Might be pretty close. 37, 38. It might be pretty
math.
close.
Yeah.
Right now he's calm.
Okay.
He's calm. Like he's coaching. You know what I mean? He's telling the corners the funnel,
Uh-huh.
funnel those guys up the seam. But moment we put those pads on, the moment we start getting real deal, he'll turn up. He'll definitely turn up.
So it is like as it gets closer to the game, you feel the intensity.
Different. It's all of them. They're all different human beings. Like Coach Wallace is like, this guy's so nice to me right now. Everybody's friends. Like everybody's patting you on the back right now.
Oh yeah.
The day before that game,
just
night before, something clicks.
Wow.
Something clicks, and everybody gets serious. Everybody gets focused. One thing I do appreciate of Wallace is he's going to coach us hard during the week, but on Saturday, he's really nice to us.
Nice.
And he understands.
He's his own good cop and bad cop.
Yeah. He understands that, like, in the game, I probably don't need to be yelled at. It's probably too late. If you're yelling at me during the game, we've messed up. And that's something I really appreciate.
You talk about, I don't want to be the linebacker who messes up the standard for the Iowa defense. Like, how appreciative are you of the history of this defense? I mean, because Coach Ferentz has been there. He's the longest tenured coach in the FBS. Like, that defense has been good for as long as most of us can remember.
As long as they were playing good ball before I was born. Anytime you're learning the install tape from Bob Sanders, like that's good
amazing.
Thing. I just feel like because we have Coach Ferentz here, we're extremely connected with our history. That might be Iowa, our program does that.
Because you have a different experience than almost any other player.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're well aware of our legacy, our lineage of guys who came before us. And it's cool, just Abdul Hodge, Jack Campbell, Josie Jewell, like you got some crazy list of linebackers on that list. So
did somebody come to you? Did one of the older guys come to you when they realized, okay, you're gonna be that guy?
It's cool. It's cool to see Coach Hodge in the building. I get to see him. He coaches the tight ends. Lachey made me a little nervous because he went up to Coach Hodge and told him I beat his tackling record. And Coach Hodge is still pretty big. He looks like he can
play a little bit.
But the love I've gotten from those guys, Chad Greenway, just the support I've gotten from the community. A community of linebackers, community of guys who play defense at Iowa has been great.
How does that work? Like, does Chad Greenway just text you?
I mean, we got numbers. We got Instagram now. It's never been easier to be connected.
Wow. But what is that like the first time that they reach out?
Yeah, it's so I'm from Indianapolis. So I don't have a lot of Iowa history. But you know the name brands. Like, there's some names that stick out.
Well, and Bob Sanders, obviously, being from Indianapolis.
Dallas Clark.
Those
are guys. I used to drink milk with Dallas Clark. Like those, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just, I grew up, so that's all I knew. But when those guys reach out, like, it really, it lets you know you're doing something special. And at the same time, it motivates you to keep going and keep pushing forward.
We got to talk about, you are home. You are here in Indianapolis. And you just told me off the air, like, when you end in Indianapolis, good things are happening to you as a football player. But what does it mean to you to be here representing Iowa?
Yeah, it's great. Like, I'm from here. Like, so Lucas Oil, this is a part of everyday life. But it's a part of it as in, like, outside looking in. That's where the Colts play. That's where the professionals play. So being in here conducting football talk is obviously a dream come true. Like, state championships in here, but so is every other state championship.
And the Big Ten championships here. So
and when you're here representing university, Big Ten's known for high-level football. it feels good to represent the family, represent all the Indianapolis guys.
And then obviously at some point you're going to come back here in your underwear and be judged. So how crazy is it to think that that's not that far off for you?
Yeah, it seems like it's around the corner, but I know the best thing I can do is play good football from week to week.
Yeah.
If I can play good football week to week, I'll worry about this, and that'll be a good problem to worry about.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I feel like your coaching staff does such a good job of making sure guys are not too worried about that. Not like they keep the main thing. I guess would be the way to do it. But again, you're going to have pressure on you to be this great defense again.
Yeah.
What do you tell your teammates, especially the young ones who have not gotten to start in this defense yet? Like, what do you tell them about how to hold up that standard?
Yeah. Standards are high, but a lot of time pursuit to the ball, effort makes up for a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
If you're gonna mess up, do it as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And if we got 11 guys running to the ball like their life depends on it, like yes, somebody gives up the wrong gap, but we'll get it done. We'll get it figured out, and it's about being coachable. Like, you got to be able to listen to constructive criticism. And I think the biggest thing out of high school is these guys, they don't mess up because everything's easy.
Right.
It's going to be hard. Like, these dudes are going to run the ball. These guards are going to pull. These tight ends are going to get under your
You're going to wind up in the wrong place and some 330-pound dude's going to put you on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's your ability to bounce back.
Yeah.
And if a guy can bounce back quick, that's all we can ask for.
That is Jay Higgins. And yeah, you hear him talk and you're like, oh, I get the whole Iowa defense thing. If they're all like him, there's nobody like him. But it is a group of guys who are very disciplined, very tough. That's why they're so good on defense. Now, for Iowa to get where it wants to go, it's got to be better on offense. One person who can make them better on offense was a guy who didn't get to play much last year. And that's Luke Lachey. But he is back. He is healthy. He may be the nicest guy in the world, just not if he's blocking you. Here is Luke Lachey.
I am here with the nicest person in the world. So says Kirk Ferentz, Luke Lachey. All right. I asked Jay Higgins, your teammate, like, is that an insult as a football player?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? Are you okay with this?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it's a compliment. It's a high praise. I don't know if it's for sure, like, true, but I don't think as a football player you need to go out there and be the meanest person.
Well, Jay says he likes to mess with you.
Okay.
Like, he'll know when you are essentially a decoy on a route and not supposed to be doing much, but will still yell at you after the play, like, how did you not get open on that?
Yeah, he does that a lot. Now I know his secret. You just told me it. So
well, I don't think I think he's pretty transparent about these things, but what's it like having somebody like that you get to play against every day at practice, who is one of the best players in the country, who is so good at his job that you're going to get that look every single day?
It's awesome. And the thing about Jay is, like, he's been, so under the radar the last, 4 years, but I've known all along that what he's capable of. And I'm just super excited for him that things are coming to light. And we came in the same year, and I knew he was talented, and I'm just, like I said, he's such a great guy, great friend of mine, and just really happy for him.
So let's talk about your situation. You get hurt game 3 last year. Obviously, you were going to have a huge role in the offense. Cade's hurt most, from the preseason, essentially. Do you feel like we've not actually gotten to see what your offense should be right now?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. With the new offensive coordinator, we're looking forward to moving forward, and getting. The hope is to try to stay healthy. Football is a violent game, and it's a lot of fun, but some things can come up, and you always hope that it doesn't happen to you or to anyone. But
How hard was last year watching?
It was hard. You just want to be out there with your brothers, and you want to succeed with them. You want to struggle with them, and that's the biggest thing, is you just want to be out there on the field. But it's not always fun being able to.
Well, I was gonna say, because you came in, and Sam had such a big year the year before.
you're getting to watch Sam ball out for the Lions, and you're supposed to be taking that next step. And I know there was a choice you had to make. How did you decide, okay, I'm coming back to Iowa for another year versus I realized I was hurt, but I could go into the draft?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is just like, there's so much I thought I had left to prove and still do at Iowa. And it's just such a great spot. I really couldn't see myself leaving.
Yeah.
And I just felt like the opportunity was there with a lot of guys that were also planning on coming back, and just, couldn't have made a better decision in my opinion.
So I was reading up on you, and I read that when you got to Iowa, you were actually probably a little bit better receiver than you were a blocker.
Yeah.
How is that possible with your dad being just an all-time great offensive lineman?
I just, I was never big enough to be a lineman and growing up. And
Yep.
I was always, in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I was a quarterback, and then moved to running back, wide receiver kind of thing in middle school. And then high school, I was only wide receiver. So we didn't focus on that. But, you'd think it would be different with him. So
Well, I was going to say, how much did Dad say, now make sure even when you're a receiver, because obviously receivers have to block too, but
for sure.
how much did Dad say, now make sure you're blocking at practice, make sure you know what you're doing when you're blocking?
Yeah, you just want to go out there and do your job whenever, whatever you can do to help out the team. But he always he would tell you I have better hands than he did. So I would,
probably true.
He's a good athlete, everything like that. But so I just think that he knew that, I might be a wide receiver, tight end type of guy. And so he just never really did the line.
How much does it help coming, as you grow up, and your size changes, so your position changes, but you've played quarterback, you've played receiver, now you're playing tight end to kind of holistically understand what's going on in the offense?
Yeah. I think it helps a little bit. Like I said, being quarterback in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I don't really count that. I'll say it, but it doesn't really count.
Was you like single wing?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit like I formation type stuff.
Hey,
which is great.
We will not besmirch the I formation here. Okay.
But in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, you can kind of do that.
You play for Iowa anyway. You guys actually have fullbacks. You can say that.
Great. It's great. But no, and then, receiver in high school, it's good. And I played corner in high school as well. So I kind of knew like some of the, I knew the zone, coverages and stuff like that. And so that helped me. But, as far as, at all, like reading offenses as a holistic, I just feel like learning from the coaches here at Iowa has been so helpful. They've done a great job.
So Jay was telling me about how the linebackers through the years stay in contact. Like Chad Greenway will reach out to him and say, hey, is it the same way with the tight ends?
Yeah, it is. Dallas Clark, he does.
This is where he did his work.
He did it all.
Yeah.
Super cool. I know he's going to have his name up on, in the stadium here soon. And so I just can't wait for him. I'm super excited for him and, his family. But yeah, he's been awesome. And then, I just, keep in touch with Sam all the time. So.
Oh yeah. What was it like to watch Sam get in the NFL and blow up?
Oh my God. It's just like, it's awesome. I'm super excited for him, super proud. He's like one of my best friends in the world, and just seeing him go out there and succeed and, do things that I knew he could do and that we all knew he could do. It's been awesome.
Are you guys tired of the jokes about the offense?
Yeah, we are. No one likes to hear that kind of stuff, and we're just trying to move forward from it.
Do you think we're going to see something different this year?
Yeah, I think Coach Lester is going to put us in the right position to succeed, and I think all the guys are really locked in and ready to go. So I just we'll see come week 1.
See, he's even nice when I ask questions like that. He really is the nicest person in the world. Luke Lachey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's okay.
Yes, they are tired of those jokes. By the way, that was Jake Butt, former Michigan tight end, coming in to have some tight end on tight end talk with Luke Lachey. But I'd be sick of it too. I would be sick of it too. We'll see what happens. We don't even know who's going to start at quarterback for Iowa. You've seen the stories this past week about Cade McNamara versus Brendan Sullivan, the Northwestern transfer. So we'll find out what they're going to be. But they've got Illinois State before that game against Iowa State. The Cy-Hawk game is going to be a big one. Matt Campbell's team looked a lot better at the end of last season. It's going to be a lot of fun to figure out what Iowa is, because we've had our fun with the Iowa offense jokes. I would actually like to retire them for a little bit, because I think if you put a functional offense with that defense, you're talking about a team that can contend for a lot of different things. By the way, I love in the chat, it's still just a Michigan-Ohio State argument, has been just raging for an hour. We haven't talked about either Michigan or Ohio State since like the 8-minute mark of the show. We're so close, people. A week from today, we're going to be talking about an actual college football game happening the following day. Think about that. That's right. Next week is week 0. We're almost there. Almost there. But hopefully something you'll see as we get ready for week 0. I'm going to admit, I feel like I know college football rosters pretty well. I did not know this person was on a college football roster until yesterday, and I apologize for that. But we need to make this happen. So if you weren't on the college football internet on Thursday, then maybe you didn't see this. But UTEP wished happy birthday to quarterback JP Pickles. It's not a made-up name. His name is JP Pickles. As you all know, here at On 3, we've got a guy named JD PicKell, former Cornell Big Red player. So you've got a past college football player named JD PicKell, a current college football player named JP Pickles. We need a collab. I don't even have authority to do it, but I've invited JP Pickles on JD PicKell's show. I texted JD, I was like, sorry, dude, he's going on your show. You got to make this happen. And when they do, the old people will remember David Letterman hosting the Oscars, Oprah, Uma, Oprah, Uma, Oprah, Uma, JD, JP, JD, JP. I mean, it's JP Pickles and JD PicKell. Both of their names sound like they are the title character in a Paramount Plus show aimed at 3-year-olds. We have to see this happen. Mars in the chat. Pickleball match. Even better. JD, get your ass on a plane to El Paso. Let's make this happen. Guys, I'll talk to you Monday.